Hi there, I'm Business Director Michael Hunnam of Kirribilli Homes, Renovation Specialist to the Hills area and to the North Shore. And I'm super glad to be here again with Dave Collins of Delve Design. Dave specialises in specialised drafting services, and actually Dave's rite of passage was as a builder. And it was in that journey that Dave said, you know what, I'm glad that I went there because now I want to be over here. And his intellectual property with building and renovation projects, plus his own personal experience with clients and dealing with local authorities. Dave has got those disciplines now to be such a super help to both the client and the renovation contractor. So welcome, Dave. And Dave, the question that we frequently get asked by clients is, what is the process? Normally when the word council is heard, there's like, whoa, there's fear and so forth. How would you qualify that?
Well, clearly there's two processes here, but I'm not fearful of council. One thing, again, and I've said it before, is that I love to build relationships with people, and building a relationship with council, they're not going to go away, mate. So we need to learn how to work with them.
Yes.
I call them one of my, my counterparts, in effect. We need to understand what they require. That's our job to do that. So I do not steer my clients away from council for that reason. It's quite simple that you build a relationship with council and they will cooperate with you. But if it happens the other way around, things don't tend to go your way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So how targeted are your services for a client for a particular council, like Hornsby or Hills? Is there a pattern of putting in your submission or with the processes, or do you find it's really targeted because it's that council?
I don't really find it's targeted. I think it's more about the clientele. I'm more than happy to work with any particular council. Generically speaking, all of their systems and the requests that they have through any DA application process are the same. What differs is the checklists and the amount of information they may require, and also the format that they require that in. But in principle, we don't favour any shire in particular.
No, it's more about the pattern of compliance.
Yeah,
is there a pattern?
The pattern is the same throughout.
It's the same.
Yeah, generally speaking, we might talk about some setbacks and some heights being marginally different.
Sure.
And we need to be on top of all of that stuff. So
yeah, that's brilliant. So often I'll have a client asking about can we use a private certifier? Okay, because they have a preconception that this is going to be an easier way to go. How would you comment on that?
Private certifiers are generally responsible during the initial approval process for what we call a complying development certificate, which is CDC. Yes. CDCs are basically issued under a SEP, which is a State Environmental Planning Policy. It is totally excluded from any council development control policies. So if we were to use that pathway for approval, the complying development pathway, we are set in stone with those development controls. They're set and to forget. If you do not comply with that particular code, that CDC code, then you need to explore the DA pathway, where generally speaking there are objectives with their development controls. So you can work with them, work with the objectives, work with a relationship with council and have them understand that you are so marginally, potentially marginally non-compliant in some areas, but you are well and truly compliant in others. So,
fantastic. So for a client who's planning a full renovation experience, and they've heard the word CDC, in a sentence, in simple plain English, what's a CDC?
Complying Development Certificate is the fast track, because it's not through council, it's through a private certifier. It's the fast track system to an approval process to have your alteration, your addition, and quite commonly a new home approved through and under the state government development controls instead of the local government.
That's going to appeal to some clients,
yes,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Of course it is. So how often do you find in your experience that you can use a private certifier?
Quite often. I mean, small alterations and additions. Clearly, the development controls can sometimes get out of whack when you have an existing house and you want to extend that existing house and it's already breaching the development controls of the complying development code.
Okay.
But you can sit down with your client, as you know, and you can make this project happen under either or both. But there are a few factors, and I think we've just worked on one together, whereby if you are in a certain zone and you have any restrictions or covenants on the land, then Sometimes that will automatically mean you have to go to DA, but I think we've established that early on a large job just recently that we can actually go down the CDC pathway.
Yeah, that's great. So the clients heard the words DA, BA, what are they? Just to take the education.
Development application is the first step of a two-stage process through local government, through council. So DA, development application, CC, you probably hear a little bit of that. That goes hand in hand with a development application because a development application is a plan or a proposal in concept. The CC is the second part of that DA, which effectively gives you right to construct. So it's a construction certificate. So it's a two-stage process versus the complying development, which is a one-stage process. It gives you the same result.
So Dave, for Delve Design to be designing and creating architectural spaces,
yes,
you're going to need to, you would see the need to collaborate with other industry professionals to get the job done for the client, yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, to get through any of these processes, we need collaboration throughout. It's from the initial meeting right through to the private certifier at the back end who's stamping the plans and saying, away you go. And it's very, very important to maintain relationships with these people. And I find that, you know, once you've got that collaborative team working together, you'd be surprised at, you know, how easy and streamlined that process can be.
Dave, what about bushfire restrictions? Is that
bushfire? No, not necessarily. I think just like I mentioned before, we managed to get a fairly low BAL rating on a recent project, and you know, to our surprise, that means we can go to CDC. Generally speaking, if it's a high bushfire rating, you're going straight to DA. Anything over BAL 29 is going straight to council for approval. Problematic, I guess, in terms of the cost of build. So yes, if you're buying in a bushfire-prone area, you need to be mindful of, you know, a small escalation in fees and costs. But generally speaking, it doesn't affect the design as such.
That's good, Dave. Yeah, fantastic. So you'll handle all that?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And that, of course, helps us price it for the client as well. So we're aware of budget. Building companies that specialise in full renovation projects need to have a freedom of communication with other industry professionals, for example, a structural engineer. But I know that at least half the builders do shy away from that kind of engagement, and even with people like yourself. So they see that project as just being too problematic, and that builder's likely to go and chase other projects. But we don't. We're very happy. We're happy that we have Dave, who's an ex-builder, who's able to collaborate with us. And that's just been a real joy. And Dave, I appreciate your time to meet with us today and bring some clarity, my friend, and bring some education to our clients. Just quickly, what is a BAL rating?
A BAL rating, bushfire assessment level, or attack level.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dave. I'm so glad that you met with us today. Appreciate your time, my friend. There's more projects to come. Thank you.
Cheers.